happens next? Joining me now to discuss is Defense Priorities Fellow John Dale Grover. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So let's get to the White House statement immediately, though, because I want you to respond to this. This is what they had to say, part of it in terms of Iran breaching the uranium limit, saying maximum pressure on the Iranian regime will continue until its leaders alter their course of action. The regime must end its nuclear ambitions and its malign behavior. And it seems like they are doing anything but.
Well, the problem is that I would very much like to quote the Brits here and say, keep calm and carry on. But the thing is, you have to think about this from every single angle. So, of course, we look at this and we see all of the activity that Iran is doing, and we get very concerned. But from Iran's perspective, we announced that we could send up to 120,000 troops over there, and that looks like exactly the run-up to the Iraq war. And from their perspective, they're under a lot of economic pressure with no way out. And my concern is that essentially what we're doing is giving fuel to the hardliners to convince Iran to eventually do a sprint for the bomb.
So what are you saying that we should do?
Well, I think that what we should do is we should immediately return to the negotiating table without preconditions. Now, our main objective here that I don't think we should lose sight of is preventing Iran from getting a nuclear bomb. The president said that in his interview with Tucker Carlson, and I think that he's right. We should prevent that. But there's a way in which you do that, and you do that by talking to them and making sure that they don't think that they are going to be utterly destroyed. If they think that their choice is run for a nuclear bomb and maybe survive versus actually get attacked by us.
Yeah. The president has a couple issues with the Iran deal itself. When you say go back to the negotiation table with no preconditions, as you said, the president agreed to that. But are you saying that we need to go back and renegotiate the Iran nuclear deal from 2015 as it is now? Because the president has said no further uranium enrichment, no sunset clauses at 10 and 15 years. Also, we need to do something about the centrifuges and that development as well, and something about the missiles that wasn't even included in 2015.
I think that's going to be a very hard sell, but I think that he has to try. You know, again, the president said when he was talking to Tucker, and he's made many different statements saying essentially that he's anti-war, he doesn't actually, you know, want to have a fight here, and he understands that that is not in America's interest. And we should look that Iran has made it very clear that they announced, they've been signaling, they said, we are going to violate the terms of the Iran deal, but they warned us about it ahead of time, and they only did it enough to power a conventional power plant. That's 3.7% enrichment.
Right. At the same time, though, they were able to increase the amount, which was what they were allowed 660 pounds, and now they're at 661. Here is what the foreign minister of Iran has to say. In terms of, as you're saying, we should negotiate with them, this doesn't sound like they're willing to do that. He says Iran will never yield to pressure from the United States. Iran has always resisted pressure and has responded with respect when respected.
Well, if you look at the history of Iran, they certainly do resist pressure. I mean, even Iraq in the run-up to the war that we had with them in the 1990s, they let 100,000 of their own people die as a result of sanctions before, and they didn't even end up caving. And so what we have to recognize, nationalism is a potent force. I mean, that goes for everyone. And they are not making that sprint to the bomb yet. And we need to watch out for that. We need to prevent that. Because if they start going to 20% enrichment, then that means they're having the amount of time to get to 90%, which is what they need to get a bomb. But they're not there yet. So they're signaling their displeasure, and we need to recognize there is an argument going on in Iran right now. There are the hardliners, and there are the people who still want to try to find a way out of this, and we should talk to the people who want to find a way out of this.
Yeah, we also need some help from some other countries as well when it comes to negotiating. And you're right, between 20% and 90%, they can reach that very quickly. John Dale Grover, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, have a good day.